Hi, and welcome to cookies. They have different names. Some people call them Mexican wedding cakes. Some people call them Swedish heirloom cookies. Some people call them tea cakes. Whatever you call them, I call them snowball cookies. The recipe I got this from, they were called Sandy's. So different name, but still the same thing. And a few different ingredients. I know that some of them call for powdered sugar in the cookie. Mine have just regular sugar, but some of them have powdered sugar in the recipe. This is so easy and so few ingredients for such a great payoff. They're like a shortbread cookie, but you make them into a ball. You can also make them into like little bars, or I mean, you can do whatever you want. But I am making little snowballs. My nephew Donnie, it's his birthday, and we're having him over for dinner. And he likes this instead of a cake, but I'm also making a cake because he won't share the cookies. So we're gonna just make him the cookies and make a cake for the other guests. I'm whipping up 1 cup of sugar, which is 2 sticks. I said sugar, it's butter. You probably knew that. Now I'm going to beat in 1/3 of a cup of sugar. Now, unlike when you're making a cake, we're not trying to beat any air into this. So once it's combined, we're good. Then I'm going to add in, it's 2 teaspoons of vanilla and 2 teaspoons of water. And this recipe, I've been making this recipe for over 40 years. And I've never changed anything to it. Today I thought, I wonder if I should put a pinch of salt in it. And I was like, why? It's good the way it is. So some things they do need a little enhancement, but some things are good just the way they are. So, all right, we're going to beat this in until it's combined. Now, when I make these at Christmas, I make these every Christmas for the past literally like 40 years. They're the first ones that go on my cookie tray. I have like maybe 20 different kinds of cookies on there. These snowball cookies are the ones that go every time the fastest. 2 cups of just regular all-purpose flour. It looks like it's not going to work, but it is. It's coming into a nice little dough. Check it out. Okay. Now, I have chopped up 1 cup of walnuts pretty finely. I like them real fine in these cookies. So, and I'm just going to stir these in by hand. And you could do the mixer if you wanted, but I think it's had enough abuse for now. I'm just going to stir them in gently with the spatula. Okay, now these have to go in the refrigerator. They need to be refrigerated for at least a half an hour. Often when we're doing our cookie baking, I'll make them the night before, and then I will, then we have them for the morning, like one of the first cookies we make. These, I usually have to double, even sometimes triple this recipe for the cookies for Christmas, because this makes about 30 cookies, I think, and we need more like 100. So, all right, these are going to go in the fridge for half an hour, 45 minutes, again, overnight if you wanted, and then we'll be back. And notice I didn't preheat the oven yet. I don't want to heat the oven now because we're going to have this in the fridge for half an hour, but we'll be back in a half an hour. For me, 2 seconds for you. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. I've got the oven heating on 325, and by the time we get done rolling these, it'll probably be at temperature. Now you can do these just like this, scoop it out and then do just a scoop like that. Or you can, roll them in balls if you want. I don't have a preference. I think either way, this is certainly going to be easier just by dropping them here. They aren't going to spread out. They're going to stay little balls. Again, you could shape these into any shape you like. When we make these at Christmas time, we have to make an extra batch just for my nephew. Oh, my oven's ready. You're going to go in a preheated 325-degree oven for 20 minutes. They're going to get brown, just a little bit of brown right on the bottom of the cookie. Shouldn't be any color on the top of it at all. I've actually made these too with a truffle inside, and they actually flatten out. Oh, they were so good. I'm trying to do these in one batch if I can, so I'm going to try and squish them all on here. Okay, I got one more cookie here. What is that? 6 by 3 is 18. It's 15. Okay, these are ready to go in the oven, 20 minutes, and we'll be back. Okay, and you can tell these are nice and brown around the edges. Got them cool. You don't want to let them cool for too long, so don't make the mistakes that I've made. If you let them cool for too long, when you dip them in the powdered sugar, the powdered sugar won't stick, so they do have to be warm, but obviously they can't be hot, otherwise they'll burn your fingers. We're going to cool about 10 minutes. And then we're going to dip them in powdered sugar. And then we're going to have delicious snowball cookies to celebrate my nephew Donald. Be right back. Okay, these have cooled slightly. They're still, pretty warm, but warm enough you can touch them. They won't hurt your fingers. And you're just going to dip them in the powdered sugar. I have been known to dip them twice. Once these have cooled off a little bit more, you can dip them again if you want. But essentially these are done, and these are good like this, warm obviously, and they're good cooled off. I have eaten them straight out of the freezer. So they are real flaky. They don't have eggs in them. They're a shortbread, right? So they're real flaky like a shortbread, and they fall apart easier. So be careful when you're eating them, or you're going to get powdered sugar all over you. But all in all, like one of the best cookies. And this is just regular 2 cups of powdered sugar. And I did stir it with a whisk just to get rid of any lumps. You can sift it if you want. And this made 35. If I would have made them a little tiny bit smaller, I could have gotten a easy 3 dozen. And these are good size. These are a couple bites. When I make them at Christmas time, they're a little bit smaller. Just because I think I've mentioned before, when I make them at Christmas, I like to make them small so that people can try a bunch of different cookies instead of just having one, giant cookie. So literally just like that, within an hour, you have just about 3 dozen cookies. You can share with your neighbors. You can stick them in the freezer and eat them like that. You can bring them to work, share them with your school friends. These are a good cookie. But yeah, you gotta let them cool off a little bit. If you don't let them cool off enough, the powdered sugar gets like wet. And if you let them cool off too much, the powdered sugar doesn't stick at all. So you have a good rule of thumb is about 10 minutes, but you want them to be warm still when you're dipping them. Oh, you see they break apart pretty good. See there, nice and flaky. Flaky, buttery, nutty. Not too sweet though, because we only used 1/3 cup of sugar, right? Then you do have the extra sweetness coming from the powdered sugar, but these are good. Thanks for watching.
I love you.